Beep, beep, beep. Hello, welcome to the Court of the Digester. How you doing? Come and be a warrior. Starting in March. Look for the adverts starting soon. Buy me a coffee, the usual stuff. If you can help out, please do. It's getting close to the end of the month. It's getting tougher, this. I've got to tell you. It's getting tougher to get the message out there. I don't know why. Whether you tell me. Do you know why? You put up tweets. Put up one yesterday. 15 people have seen it. I don't know what's going on. It's just the most unusual thing. But we keep going. Regardless, we keep going. All right, so what have I got for you today? Well, this is from The Guardian, right? Lefty nonsense, right? The Guardian. I'm cold reading this, right? Because I knew it was in my list to do, but I didn't read it deliberately. I've seen comments online, which of course means I've got some knowledge of it. But I'm going to cold read it because I do that most of the time. And this one, headline really caught my attention. It's an opinion piece, and it says, gender ideology is all around us, but it is not what the Tories say it is, by one Finn Mackay, another LARPer, right? The government's new gender guidance for schools is alarming, and so is the contested, deeply conservative terminology embedded in it. Deeply conservative terminology embedded? What, reality? So reality is now conservative, is it, Finn? Good. Conservatives should change their name to the Reality Party. And then when this is all over, they can change it back. That should be their slogan. Back to reality. That should be the election slogan for the Tories. Back to reality. In December, 5 years later than promised, the Tories finally delivered draft non-statutory guidance for schools on gender questioning children. It provoked criticism and concerns from all sides and is open for consultation until March, but whatever its final form, one aspect of the guidance has gone largely unnoticed, says Finn here. The document doesn't tell us anything we don't already know about this government's hostile stance on trans identities, inclusions and rights. Yeah, that's because it doesn't exist, Finn. You're just a woman. What's up with you? Right? You're not well, love. Unfortunately, what it does do is further solidify in official documentation and language the politicized phrase gender identity ideology. Finn, where you been? Because, everybody knows what that is, Finn, except it seems to be you, right? The government is attempting to bring into the mainstream this contested term, a creation of right-wing sex and gender conservatism that dates back to the 1990s. Most of the people I know that are doing this, Finn, are loving lefty women, right? Okay? And liberal lefty women and liberal lefty men. And, we've got the odd person we don't really have the same kind of right in this country as they do in America, but other people are tremendous women from the conservative side of the fence. What are you talking about, Finn? Everybody knows what gender identity ideology is. We know what it does to children. We know what the outcomes are when you're allowed to have free reign with your utter nonsense. Right? Finn, you get it? Your utter nonsense. Okay? So, Finn says it dates back to the 1990s, and which forms a key part of renewed attacks against the LGBTQ+ community. Finn, you may live in that delusional world where you think that's actually a thing. I'm sorry, I have to tell you, lovely, it's not a thing, right? Okay, the LGBTQ+ community is simply a box-ticking enforced idea. It doesn't exist. Most gay men don't support it. Most lesbians don't support it. The TQ+ is a separate thing altogether and needs to go, right? And it can take you with it as well, by the way, right? Finn Mackay, it can take you with it, all right? As used in this context, the phrase gender identity ideology is actually nothing to do with gender, as in masculinity and femininity, and how this shapes our identities. Let me tell you, Finn, it's 2023. If your identity is still being shaped by masculinity and femininity, because you can't draw the line between male sex roles and female sex roles that are necessary or that we can't escape from, having children, producing small, wriggly things that look like Woody Allen, right? If you can't get past that, then it's you that's got the problem. Your obsession with this concept of masculinity and femininity, the overarching, vile, parental thought process. that holds people in place. That's you. Let's keep going. It doesn't shape our identities. You're an idiot, right? Instead, it is used to imply that transgender and gender non-conformity identities are a new fad, and that the long-standing social justice movement, trans rights, is really a conspiracy of nefarious elites. There's nothing long-standing about. These LARPing men have been, which you're in the service of, by the way, which you might want to look at, actually, because, you're a woman. Try and find out a bit about the men behind it. Go back far enough, Finn. Or have you already, you just don't want to believe it? Give it a try. Mackay. They think it's a conspiracy theory. There is not a social justice movement for trans rights. There has been a gradual encroaching of trans rights, driven from the top. This is not a social justice issue of any kind. This is not a grassroots movement, Finn. It's not. The use of terms such as gender identity, ideology, gender identity, and social transition serve to obscure the ideology of gender that the members of this government, like all sex and gender conservatives, merrily adhere to themselves and enforce on us all. Gender ideology is real, but it wasn't invented by trans men or trans women, and it doesn't just apply to trans or transgender people. The real gender ideology is the binary sex and gender system that requires all of us to be either male masculine heterosexual or female feminine heterosexual. Does it? Where is it? Point it out. Show it to me. Is it on a tablet? Right? Has it been discovered somewhere by people searching for scrolls? We've got it! We found the male to masculinity pipeline and the female to femininity pipeline. You're talking garbage! Absolute utter garbage. You ridiculous nonsense merchant. You're a gender-altered grievance gerbil, right? What are you talking about? If you succumb to the concept of what it means to be masculine and feminine, which is a purely and wholly subjective view of what it means to be a man and a woman, then you're the ones that are pushing the nonsense, not us, right? Because that's not what we do. You think that's what we do because that's what you're doing. Ugh. It says almost all of us will have been socialised onto pink or blue paths. That's you, it's in your flag, you raving cultist. And if that's not by the immediate family, then it's by books, TVs, toys, clothes and adverts that surround us in wider society. This socially prescribed gender informs our gender identity. What you're saying there, Finn, right? Try and, keep up, right? Do try, Mackay, right? What you're saying there, Finn, is that people are making their identities based on marketing. They are creating a brand based on marketing because that's what you think you have to do. I've had this out with somebody this week on Twitter. We're having a bit of a banter, Identity is utterly immaterial. It has absolutely no relevance anywhere in a modern society. It's got no relevance at all, right? You have a personality, which if you're lucky enough, you can make a character out of, and then you'll have a reputation. Your personality is what you are, the character is what you make of yourself, the reputation is what other people think of you. The fact that people are obsessed with some ridiculous concept called identity is because they feel that they're being looked at all the time. They think they live in a panopticon. And a panopticon is connected to exactly the type of conspiracy theory that you've written about in The Guardian, which is just cobblers. For God's sake, woman, grow up and get in the bin. I'll see you all later. Ta-da!